Hi, Patrick Connor with ACC Specialty Cars in Dallas, Texas. Here today talking about our 1993 911 American Roadster. So we'll cover a few things that are interesting about this car and about the model itself. So obviously a very gorgeous car. Not many people know about it. This car has 12,900 miles, so it's very, very fresh. It's an all original car. And the American Roadster was sort of an interesting part of the 964 generation. It is a two-wheel drive, wide body cab that was only made for the United States. They made 250 of them. However, they called it a turbo look convertible in Europe, and I believe that they had 900 of those that they made. But so for the United States and for this for the name the Roadster, this is a very, very rare and limited number car. Again, this car is obviously black, has the light linen interior that has the gathered leather, and a couple of features of this car that are unique are the rear seat delete, and it has a limited slip differential. The things that are particularly appealing about this particular car is that it's like new. So we'll go for a drive in it a little bit later, but it's just absolutely as delivered. There's no paint work, there's no damage to the car, but things like how the shifting feels and how the clutch actuates and stuff are really like it was when it was brand new. Another thing now that you're in the back is the Roadster on the back deck. Pretty cool, don't see that very often. Just a really, really nice, fresh car. Super rare. Okay, so I would argue at almost 13,000 miles, this is probably one of, if not the lowest mileage car out there, or certainly that we've seen. Most of the cars we see are generally mid-mileage, 50,000, etc. This car does have the onboard computer in the dash and the tachometer, and looks like it has a 993 radio in it, so that's just some slight modifications on it. But as you can see, the leather is just absolutely perfect. It's super soft. The carpets are just really, no wear or dirt or anything like that. The car has been treasured, and it has spent the last several years in a collection here in Texas. So not a lot about the car is different than a standard 964 turbo, except that the fenders are much larger. So we actually have behind us a 964 turbo. So same body as that 964 turbo, does not have the all-wheel drive, has the two-wheel drive. But the best perspective on these cars, in my opinion, are when you can see the flared fenders on the front, and in particular the back. It's just a moment in time that Porsche had, not unlike the 930s, that were so special that they, done some things to recreate the flared rear, but I don't think it gets any better than a black wide body 964. So now let's take it for a little drive, and we'll give you some driving impressions. All right, let's go for a ride in the 93 American Roadster. So this car has the full leather interior, which would include the dash and the tops of the doors. And I'm going to give you my impressions as I drive this car. As I mentioned when we were outside of the car, how the clutch feels like new, and really every part of driving it does, but it's just so smooth. Putting it in gear is easy. The car's a little cold, so we will ease into driving it. And the car has been sitting for about a week or so since we've last run it, so let it get warmed up. First impressions are, it sure is nice to have a good temperate day for a drive with the convertible top down. Brakes are just really, feel just right. Really crisp into second gear, just very amazing to drive a car with such low mileage. We have a number of cars that have much higher mileage, and they get loose over time, and this one is not at all. One of the great things about driving a 964, and this is the reason why a lot of people prefer the 964 over the 993, is you have the front fenders, and in the driving position, you look out over it and you see the humps for the fenders, and that's, I spend more time driving 993s, and it's always the first thing I notice when I jump in a 964 is how cool is that to still have that, that shape that's been in a 911 since the beginning. Over time, it's been lowered and smoothed out. Just get up on our typical bridge, get a little bit of acceleration. Still cold, car's still cold. Suspension's good over the bumps. This road has a few bumps on it. Feels good. This feels absolutely perfect. Alignment's great. Just drive straight. Just unbelievable. Just so tight. So tight. Sometimes this is a tough job, having to drive a car like this on a 60-degree day, on checking out the city. All right, back down on what we call the levee. It's a little levee road, but some good bumps here to kind of feel how the car takes them. Yep. And we're finally warm enough to enjoy the car a little bit. The engine's warmed up. So I'll go down here in a minute, turn around, and let it open it up a little bit. All right, at a point where we can have 964 has such a distinctive sound. Hopefully you can pick up a little of that engine noise. Wow, feels great. Nice and strong. Feels a little different than the 65 356C that I just drove about an hour ago. This actually has horsepower. All right. Another good bridge. So I have a connection with 964s personally. My first air-cooled car was a 1992 964 C2. I was living in Scottsdale at the time and bought the car. It may have had 30 or 40,000 miles. This would be about 2003. And I bought it for $25,000, which is pretty hard to believe in today's market. But always had a special place for it. That car went on to my father later, and then my brother and my sister as well. So it got passed through the family and really got a lot of enjoyment out of it.